It's a good morning to you. Welcome to Asake Online. My name is Zenzele Ndebele, and this is the Breakfast Club, a show where we look at all issues that happen in our community and surrounding areas. But this is a special program where we look at the history of ZPRA, Sikhuluma lababe sempini, abahamba ukuyalwela inkululeko eZimbabwe. To hear from them, what were their experiences? What did they do? What is it that they didn't do? Because like I always say, the history of ZPRA is underdocumented. Very few people have told us this history. Very few books have been written about the history of ZPRA, and it is up to us to actually hlale phansi labadala sikhulume labo besitshele ngembali yabo, because we don't want to go to the Lobengula scenario ukuthiwa uLobengula wathengisa ilizwe ngo-X because uLobengula did not have an opportunity to tell his side of the story. Sisalabo, we want to record this history sizwe ukuthi kwahamba njani. And today in the program I'll be talking to ubaba Marshal Mhambi Mpofu, yena ke uvelela enkayi ezinyangeni under uChief Nkalakatha. Sifuna ukuzwa ukuthi what was his story when it comes to the liberation struggle? What was his role? Kwakunjani? What were his experiences? And I hope that we will learn a lot from him. Baba Mpofu, welcome to the program. You mentioned something interesting about Mangena in the army, and there was this issue that Mangena wanted to form his own party called the Nyanga Party or something like that. Where was that all coming from?
You see, struggle is a very complex thing. You can infiltrate the enemy as much as the enemy can still infiltrate you. You must always remember that anything is possible within that. Because the Geneva Conference failed, ZAPU had to form a regular conventional army. I happened to be there when Joshua Nkomo was giving a press conference in Zimbabwe House. I just come from the front. Then there was a press conference after the Geneva Conference. The British were asking some journalists and so forth, I remember some of Barrel and so forth. They were saying, Nkomo, now that the Geneva Conference has failed, what is your option? What are you going to do? It is there that Nkomo said, we are forming a conventional army. And I still remember his words very well. He said, Mark, not a Salvation Army, a conventional army that is going to take that regime by force of arms. And it is that order that he gave Nikita as the first general order to go and establish the formation of a conventional army. They must have discussed it, obviously, in the afternoon, but the announcement came during that time. There's no way Mangena could have formed his secret army. Maybe people do not understand how armies work and how they interact. But there was nothing like that. How could you form an army with 2,000 men going to Angola, 2,000 Libya, 2,000 Zambia, and then you say that is secret? No, there's nothing secret about it. It's that people wanted to foment a problem so that it's difficult in command only.
So I find that there was probably at one point there was this gap within ZPRA where you have amagerilla kudala we kudala besilwa be 2-3 bese kusibala amanye we ngabo maybe 74, then you have the conventional army. Did these different soldiers ababesebe ku ground be operator bonke work very well, or was kusibala ukuthi despisana ukuthiza?
Yeah, anything new will raise a lot of suspicion. I trained in the guerrilla setup, but maybe I was lucky that I had to go to the Soviet Union to understand the workings of the guerrillas and the conventional armies. Maybe other people did not have the chance. But the thing is, anything that is new will definitely bring some problems, some here and there. Yes, there was such a situation where it was difficult to coordinate. But this again falls back to the commander himself. Nikita Mangena was so exposed that he understood the workings of the military. If you can check his training in Algeria and other things like that, the performance and so forth, he has always been the best among best from other liberation movements. So his understanding of us maybe he moved far ahead than his staff and the troops. But that was not to say we could not work together. No. Because one common factor, one common ground was that we all joined the struggle in order to liberate the country. You could not liberate the country without undergoing training and fighting. Obviously, that on its own assisted so that otherwise things could have fallen apart, but it could not, because at least we understood that. Like for some people, I tell you, I was sent to Mlongoshi, not because to go and train people in anything. I was sent there because and appointed a deputy political commissar, because I understood the party issues and I could best well direct the party directives in the military, because I was also trained and was politically clear, maybe than other people. Not that I was the best, but a commissar had to be that, people above other people in the understanding of the party position and the military. So we assisted on that one.
So you are with the Zambian army up to when?
With the Zambian army, after training the recruits over 2,000, they graduate, they pass out, they go. Some remain. Some come from Angola, others from other countries, soldiers. And then we're in officer corps that was running in Kohima, military training establishment of Zambia, which was in Kabwe. So the officers graduate. Some come from Somalia. We had gone to Somalia for training, officers again. We were mandated to form a regular brigade now. That was after the death of Mangena. Mangena died in June 2028. The regular army was formed around October. And my Lieutenant General Masuk was now the commander. It was formed by Unkomo Ngwaka. He came all the way from Saga together with Kaunda, equipping ambassador, German ZPRA ambassador, and other few ambassadors. And they were all assembled. Then Nkomo gave the instruction that he is coming here to officially launch the formation of a brigade, the brigade, conventional brigade. And he appointed the commanders. The commander was appointed as Brigadier Chile Unleya, Moyo commander. Sifasi, the late now, SP Moyo, was the chief of staff. By appointment, Ivela Kunkomo, obviously with the advice, Kamasuku, as the commander of the army. Then I was appointed brigade political commissar. And there were 3 of us. Then we were given the task to form a brigade. I was also given the chance to address the brigade on behalf of the brigade command, which I did. Then after 3 weeks' time, we'd formed the brigade, started training it, 4 battalions.
So did you ever deploy this brigade?
Yes. In fact, before the brigade was deployed, where it was deployed, it sustained and repulsed several enemy attacks whilst we were still at Mlongoshi. There could be several attacks, maybe twice a day. Aircrafts would come, but we used to repel them. We would capture, at one stage I remember, we captured soldiers who pretended to be journalists. It's a white woman and 3 other men, but we would see they were soldiers. We captured them, interviewed them. Unfortunately, the woman had never seen our men in military attire and fatigue. She just soiled herself. When they gave us information, then we sent them to Saka for advanced military intelligence cleaning and so forth. Yeah.
So where do you deploy this?
Now the brigades have been deployed. They're still in Ndungushi. They've been trained. They are ready to move. At the same time, there's a talk of a Geneva conference. So there was
Is this the Geneva of Lancaster?
It is Lancaster.
Yeah.
Okay, the Geneva was 1976.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lancaster. But all the same now, they to be deployed. When the brigades were deployed, they did not go as a brigade collectively. And therefore, what it meant was, Tina as brigade staff commanders were withdrawn, because they were now going to operate individually, not as a brigade in town. They will receive orders direct from army headquarters. What we could call now, they ceased to be brigade collective. They were army troops that were only assigned mission by the headquarters. So the brigade staff was sent back. Chilelea was appointed deputy commander of ZPRA. Usifasi went to G branch, to operations department. I was sent to headquarters and what we termed mobilization committee. It was a psychological warfare department that had been created, which was headed by Swazi. I was there representing ZPRA. He had a few guys from different departments. So the battalions were deployed. One was deployed in Feira, the other one was deployed right across the front edge. All the four were deployed.
So now they work differently from, not as a battalion.
As a brigade, not as a brigade, but as the independent battalions.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. This is why the first battalion, when what was attacked, the others were not attacked. They were not near. But they were self-sufficient. This is why this battalion which was attacked was able to fight a 7-day war without...
There's always been this rumor that ZPRA had now acquired the Air Force, they acquired the jet. Did you ever, ZPRA, acquire my jets?
I don't want to pretend that I know much, but we had guys who had gone for training, Air Force training. We had guys who had graduated from Air Force in the Soviet Union, some in Egypt. Today, the current commander of the Air Force trained in the USSR. Those are the some other technical. We had them. But whether we had the aircraft ready, that is not within my knowledge.
So in 1980, where do you go? What, to ceasefire?
1980, in fact, before the ceasefire itself, I was in Lusaka. Like I told you, I was working in the mobilization department, which was a psychological warfare department that had been recently created. I was called by Lieutenant General Masuku to his office, and I was told on the 25th of December 1979 that I should assist him in locating officers of the staff who would accompany him to Rhodesia. That was 25, on the Christmas Day. So I did that. I managed to locate the officers that were needed according to their training and requirement. So we flew to Salisbury the following day on 26 December 1979.
So you come here, what do you do?
We arrived in Harare airport. We're supposed to arrive at simultaneously with the Zanda forces from Mozambique, but unfortunately they did not. We arrived around 2 in the afternoon, or a little bit earlier than that. Yeah, it was just an hour's flight or 2 hours from Lusaka. Then we went to Mount Pleasant College, which was a teacher training college for the whites by then. We set up our instruments, everything, communications. We were able to communicate with headquarters in Lusaka and our troops on the ground. Then the following day, we go to Brayside, Acadia, this colored township, Brayside. There's a hall there where we're going to meet the Commonwealth monitoring team, which was commanded by General Auckland from the British Army. So that was a Commonwealth thing. So we went there, took away and start preparing for the ceasefire, allocation of assembly points, approval or disapproval of certain 7 points that had been agreed in Lancaster. So this is what we did. From there, when we were posted out, that same day after finishing, I was posted to Midlands in Gwera, which was Operation Grapple, according to Amakiwa by there, to start effecting the ceasefire. I was responsible for Midlands, taking our guys to the ceasefire, going to the operation, convincing them that the war is over and everything. It was not a minor thing, it was a risky business because communications were breaking down, or there were none at all for people to understand that there's anything that has happened at Lancaster. So it was quite risky. But we
because I'm going there with your things.
Yes, it was, yes. Lucky enough, some of us had been to the front. Some knew us. But still, they could not fail to lapel that we have changed. No, sell out. Yes, that is there.
So, I mean, election day comes, is up here, you know, how do you take that?
It was disastrous. Anyway, before I talk about the elections themselves, I think there's one thing that has always worried me today. The issue is we deployed on the 27th of December, 1971, when I went to Kwekwe. Surprising enough, before I got to Kwekwe, each liaison officer, I was appointed a liaison officer. Each liaison officer was attached to a British colonel here and there and so forth, all over. I was attached to a British colonel by the name Colonel Bremridge. And the Zandla guy also was attached to another colonel. So we went together. We stayed at the Femal Motel. Just before we got to Kwekwe, you want to say chemicals, Lapana?
Yeah.
Before there was this flyover. Flyover came after Independence.
Yeah.
There was no flyover. This guy asks me, Marshal, what tribe are you? No, from our training and from the way we had lived,
yeah,
with no differences, this and that. I said, I'm Zimbabwe. He says, no, I want to know what tribe. I said, I'm Zimbabwe. He said, which part of the country do you come from? Then I said, the western part of where. I said, also, I'm ZPRA. My political party is ZAP. A very strong political party. He says, yeah, I know General Josh, highly charismatic leader, but I'm afraid, I want to tell you, he is not getting the job. Huh? Then I said, you're joking. Don't know Zapwin. Neither do you know. He says, then we went to the state for 2 weeks. That thing worried me. That was before the elections, because it was 27 December 1979.
Yeah.
I wrote a letter, because there was no, by then, technology of this nature, phone and other things were limited. So, instead of going over the radio, I could not go to the radio. I wrote a letter to General Masuga and TT in Harare, who were in the Joint High Command. Hey, I've got a problem here. My observation is that this guy, Unjela Ikinis, in fact, you are getting 20 seats. Yeah, that was emphatic. What we are getting 20 seats? Not I know. There's no way Zap can get 20 seats. What is getting 20 seats? And General Josh is not getting the job. Okay. So I'm saying, sent it to Masuga. Yeah. Exactly end of January, that guy was removed from the Commonwealth monitoring team. He was posted to Canada. They brought a new guy, Colonel Crane. That was short, almost my size, but it's stout. That is the guy I worked with throughout the ceasefire until September, end of September. So when election day comes, we have lost. It didn't mean anything to me. But after 4 days, that is when I discovered that something serious has happened. We've lost the elections. What's the way forward now? It was very difficult. We had to move, try to convince our comrades, our soldiers, no, Elections coming home. There will be another election. Maybe next election will win. They said, no, guys, it was highly emotional that day. Other people, I'm sure, somewhere killed themselves, shot themselves dead. Soldiers in some point that we had lost the election. But we also felt bad. I personally felt very, very bad that we lost. But still, I knew there was something. That guy could not have known the elections on 1977, 1979, the results, unless it is something that they had already cooked before.
So then comes integration. Do you join the army, or you say, no, it's enough since anything?
No, I joined the army. I joined the army 25 September 1980. That is after we'd finished integrating the soldiers and everything. So I joined.
Yeah. So which brigade did you join?
I joined the headquarters for Brigade together. You see, I joined ZPRA from the senior command element. We did not go down there like soldiers did. They wanted senior officers at all brigade levels, institutions. I went to 4 Brigade together with Brigadier Maznyane and Brigadier Rodwell, Nika. So we're 3. And Zanda had 3 also.
So what was your position?
We were colonels.
So vele ungena ungu-chef.
Izandla had 3. Parents Shiri, Lomchena, Loden Marim. So those are the guys who worked together.
So at one point, parents.
Yes. Not only that, we had to go to courses again after that.
So ingqondo kaShiri e-5th Brigade yasivela ngaphi?
I suspect. Yabona into eguqula when it doesn't start with 5 Brigade and so forth. I think they had it in mind. If you go back to issues like Morogoro, Cacao and other things like that, Mporoma, I was once in Mporoma, all these things show that there was this natural hatred for us, especially as Ndebele. Yes, that was there. Because I remember at one stage when was this UNC, the amalgamated UNC, where was ZAPU, ZANU, Flores, and so forth, under UNC. Each time I'm a president of the parties, we used to visit Mboroma, where all troops, some troops had been brought together, ZANU, Flores, and other things like that. Izanda would mention derogatory slogans and so forth. Pasna for China, Pasna Dumbukuru, whatnot. Obviously, that was directed to Nkomo and so forth. So it's thing that started way back. The reasons, I don't know. We'll find them together.
So you worked with Parents Shiri, 5th Brigade. What kind of a person was he?
No, there was nothing outstanding. There was nothing outstanding. We worked together at 4 Brigade together. That was maybe under the command of Brigadier Walker. The army was still commanded by the way. So we were understanding there. Then from there we had to go for a course in Zimbabwe Staff College. About 26 officers from each ZPRA, 26 from Zanda. We went to Cranbourne Barracks. We sat for an examination supervised by the British Commonwealth. Out of that, 17 ZPRA passed, then 9 Zanda passed. So we went to Staff College as the most senior course of the staff, where colonels and brigadiers were going to be selected. After finishing the course, we were surprised. 8 ZPRAs were left out. I was one of those who were left out to remain as lieutenant colonel.
And not the brigadier?
Yeah. Not Maznyane, Rodwell, Chirenda, James Nyaera, Thomas Ngwenya. We could not be given that. Instead, Surprising enough. The Zanda who had failed, the previous courses, some were created and make full colonel. Can you imagine?
So you are now there. So you remain in there.
Yes, and in fact, why? I've been a soldier. Almost 8 years in the struggle. And then there's no way you can leave such a job that we have been to it for quite some time. And we had an obligation. We had troops that we have got to safeguard. We had, maybe some of us from the political point of view, with the ideological thinking that we had to preserve. And we could not preserve it when we were out. We had to preserve it when we were in the army. So this is why I remained in the army.
So you are in the army until when?
I served until December 1995. That's when I left the army, but not ceremoniously.
So you were fired?
Not really. I opted out.
Okay.
Because I knew if I had only stayed in maybe a few months on that, something wrong was going to be found on me, despite the fact that there was nothing.
So what position were you then? Which rank did you have?
I was a lieutenant colonel.
So what's a brigadier?
No, lieutenant colonel, then colonel, then brigadier.
Yeah.
You see, when during the start, Kukraund, I was in the Midlands area. In the Midlands area, I was posted to Midlands. Before Kukurawundi was brought to 5 Brigade, it was still in Nyanga, it was nowhere. So the Midlands district was administered by a Midlands district, which was not an operational unit, but was an administrative and logistical unit. So I was there. One night, I bought a house in Gweru. I bought a house in Gweru in 1981. Then one night, my house was surrounded by this support unit. There's about 20 or more than men. They took me. I was charged for maybe assisting dissident and cashing arms. When I was in the army, I met a colonel. We had been together even that previous day at work. He was the one who was leading the accusations.
And you could say, but when I'm
Yeah, I think I said it because on motions, you come. Unfortunately, he is late. May his soul rest at peace if it may.
What was his name?
He was Colonel Mnyoro by that. Now his real name was Kananga. I'm arrested. Stayed in Gweru, and this is Mkoba police station where they remand prisoners. That's where I stayed.
And how long are you there?
It's a month to about 2. Then I am released. That's one morning. Say, oh, guys, come in a 544. They picked me up, drove along the Harare Bulawayo Road. Up to a point, I still remember the point, it's about 45-kilometer back. After Amaloko Zalana,
My transmission.
Yes, you're going to transmission.
Yeah.
You drive before you get to road on the right.
Yeah.
That road will be going to a farm that belonged to ZPRA, Hampton Range Farm.
Yeah.
We had bought property, Lenkomo, over 4,000 head. Then they drive me there. I was sure, certain now that I'm not coming back anymore. Only to get there, oh, surprising. Here is one guy and the other one is here. For the first time that I saw those guys, there was a big table that was in between. This is the current president. The current president. Who was Minister of State and on security and agency. And then next to him, I think he was Dr. Sakramai. Right, tell us. All these arms that have been uncovered here, they were put by some of you, or you were sent by other people to do this. Where's the shock of my life? What are they talking about? But one thing I realized, Usekramai was quiet. This one was Kulu. And they wanted me to implement someone, I did not know anything, and therefore I refused. There's one name that they wanted. I refused. I said, whatever happens, that is, I think, where my rank dropped. Because I returned back to the army after that. But I did not implicate anybody. They wanted me to implicate DG. That was a very difficult moment.
So you see these guys, you know they're powerful and they're on your own, and your life can end there. What's going through your mind?
No, that time I think I was prepared for anything. I remember very well. We have a iskrumala. I see iskrumala. That iskrumala was high flown English to make sure that even if I'm dead, but I've sent my points straight and clear. It was quite a long time. But then from there, went back to the army.
You are demoted?
Demotion hasn't come yet, but it will come. It officially came with all about 12 ZPRA lieutenant colonels were demoted.
To what?
Only to captain. Mangena was demoted to a captain. I was demoted to a major. Others to majors. Who is that now? Is a, he's in love.
Yeah, I hear the name. Yeah.
He was demoted to a lieutenant. There's so many of, I think 12 of 13. Can you imagine? Maybe it was a way to frustrate us so that we leave the army. But we said, we are not leaving. I said to myself, I'm not leaving. So that has been the situation.
So you are there until you retire on 95?
Yeah, 95. 95 also was another problem.
But 95 things have cooled down. Unit accord. There's no opposition. So why were you still under pressure?
When I was in 5 Brigade, there was a time when I was sent to, when the Michelin City was disbanded, I was sent to 5 Brigade.
You actually went to 5 Brigade?
Yes. But we were virtually prisoners and not officers of the brigade.
So when you are transferred to 5 Brigade, what is the instruction?
No, it's just posting. Officers have been posted today as a group. Others were posted in Mrewa as a group, maybe trying to eliminate ZPRA from the army. You see? Because that was before the Mozambican campaign. So obviously the idea could have been to remove all the ZPRA out of the army. So we were sent there.
So which year did you go to the 5th Brigade?
1984.
This is the big of Gukuraund, actually.
No. Is it 83? Yes, 83.
When Gukuraund is...
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it didn't start. It started in the Midlands.
Yeah.
We could see the flashings before they came to Matabele.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the time.
So when you get there, what do you do? What role do you have?
No, you are just sent there. You are in the pool.
So you meet Shiri again now?
Yes. We met. Having been together at 4 Brigade, having been together at Staff College.
Yeah.
Yes. But I want to be frank. Personally, relation with me, it was never harsh. No. He could have done to other people, but not with me. No. Some element of respect.
What I find interesting with Shiri is that no one will tell you they had problems with Shiri as a person. Because they say, yes, that's Kurumisan. He was an okay guy. So you are there.
Yes. At one point, I'm sent to a brigade farm to go and manage pigs together with another lieutenant. I was a lieutenant, another lieutenant Pepe, to go and manage pigs.
So in the hierarchy of the army, how big is a lieutenant? You are salute.
Lieutenant colonel.
He's an officer.
Yes, I'm saying lieutenant colonel next to colonel.
Yes. So you're in office?
Yes. Officers start from lieutenant.
So we say,
Yeah.
but Kalingulo.
Oh no, that was to frustrate us. They sent us to go and manage a pig farm and so forth. We went there 2 days, we refused. We came back. We said, we're not trained to run pigs. There was a guy who was actually trained to run that, and he was a ZPRA guy who was running there. They just wanted to frustrate us. We refused. Then I was posted to Army headquarters after that.
So, Vele, yeah, throughout your army days, there's always this thing that you don't feel comfortable.
We're only comfortable when the Mozambican situation happened, because initially Zanda went to the operations. I think they thought they were just going to do it maybe within a month, 2 or 3 months. They are back. They finished the enemy. They are back. They are all heroes, and they happen to be Zanda coincidental as heroes. But the situation in Rukam did not devise that. 2 colonels were hit, and they happened to be Zanda. They died there. So people said, no, this war is serious. Take all these ZPRAs who are in Mrewa, Pool, and Brigade, deploy them in Mozambique. That is where we were safe.
So you guys,
but we were not even safe because the conscience remained. Because I remember where I was, these Mozambican bandits, they would say, you Ndebele guys, 5 Brigade is butchering your people, and we are here. You see, that thing was kept alive in our memory. But we won't judge. But they would use that.
And I find it interesting that you are actually safer in Mozambique than in the National Army.
Yeah, we were fighting in Mozambique. There was no one to talk
so
about. No, people are dying. People have got to be saved. You can save me, I can save you. That was the situation. There was no problem in Mozambique.
So it's been all these years, from your young age up to your now old. You're in the army, you're in the liberation struggle. As we end, when you're looking back, do you have any regrets with the path that you chose?
No. Going to liberation struggle, I have no regret with that. Because it was out of conviction that I joined the liberation struggle. I wanted to see a better Zimbabwe. But conversely, the Zimbabwe that we thought was better, comparatively, you even think it was better the time Amapunebusa, because maybe if the oppression was there, they were oppressing many people, they were few. But now it is the majority that seem to be oppressing the few, the minority. Because it would appear everything, what we believed in is not what we. Zimbabwe was supposed to be a country with all tribes like it is, but all equal. Unity in diversity. But now it is a problem. You only are happy when you are shown as speaking. It is most unfortunate and regrettable. Because when we were in ZPRA, we never talked about some of these things. With all tribes. So to Donga, whatnot, and so forth. Kalang, people would talk their languages freely. I learned Shona during the war. I never spoke Shona until I left for the war. But it was free. We had friends, Shona speaking guys and so forth, even in training and so forth. Even when I went to the Soviet Union, I think we were 4 Ndebeles, maybe 8 Shonas. Even at Morocco, it was supposed maybe they were Shonas. We had no problem with that. In ZPRA, we had no problem with that. Yes. But somewhere, I don't know who brought that. But joining the Palestinian, I have no regret with that. Because I still believe that something is going to come out. There is no permanent situation in life. Things will change. And it is those who are present people that will regret.
Yeah, on that interesting note, we'd like to thank you, Mhambi Mpofu, Marshal Mhambi Mpofu, who joined the liberation struggle at a young age. And it's quite interesting that he had an opportunity to be a medical doctor or to go train as a medical doctor, but he chose to train as a liberator. And indeed, Zimbabwe was liberated because some of their efforts. And we are free today thanks to the men who sacrificed their lives, their bright future to fight for us. And Zimbabwe might not have have all the things that we want. We might be feeling oppressed today, but some people sacrifice their lives to fight the oppressor. And it is that history that we are looking for and that we want to understand. And up today, when you talk about ZPRA, easily you are labeled a tribalist because you've talked about these issues. But like I said, it's easy for people to say uLobhengula wathengisa ilizwe ngoba akula lapho esingihamba siyelalela khona kumbe sibone iWhatsApp kaLobhengula kumbe itweet kaLobhengula sizwe ukuthi side stories kaLobhengula ithini. And we are not going to allow ourselves to have another Lobhengula moment again. And this is why we have this series, so that we understand the history. My name is Zenzele Ndebele. Till we meet again, have a good day.